After having 2 boys, we were thrilled to welcome a little green-eyed blonde girl into our family, our little fantasy princess. That lasted until she learned to express herself.
She went from dancing in frills to thinking she was one of the boys. Anything they can do, she can do better. From banding calves to brake-checking cows, riding motorbikes and horses, just to name a few.
There is no princess living at our house. This cute little blonde can be very witty and has a very great sense of humor. She has inherited several great traits from her mother and unfortunately a few bad ones from me. But she has also acquired some qualities on her own, blonde moments.
Ever since I was a little boy, this cute blonde has been a great friend and example to her nieces and nephew and my little sister. Me, my family, and me. She is someone that I can always look up to, count on for help, guidance, and direction. She's become one of my best friends. However, as you can see, that as the years have passed, that is no longer the case anymore. I felt I needed to give Calee this little gift so that hopefully I can put her higher in my sights again.
Calee, we are so proud of you and all your accomplishments and for the wonderful example you are to our entire family. You are a very special young woman, along with being my spoiled little brat. We love you with all our hearts and wish you the very best in your lifelong journey. Please help us welcome for her retiring address your 2013-2014 Vice President, Calee Lott.
Right now, like they're 1700s, so like times that by a lot, yeah. And then there's the chair that you sit in kindergarten class where you learn your ABCs. Then we get to middle school and we get to sit in those swivelly chairs during our keyboarding class that always seem to get us into trouble. Then we get to high school and we get to sit behind the chair, behind the steering wheel, getting from point A to point B without parental supervision is a teenager's dream come true. Each chair we sit in teaches us life lessons and shapes who we become. The chair you're sitting in right now taught me how to be myself. The chair back home in your art classroom taught me that I had potential. And that hospital chair right there taught me the work you have to be willing to put in to be better. Together, these chairs taught me what it means to be my best. Picture this. It's 2010. The house lights go down, the stage lights come on, the music fills the room, and the energy is through the roof. It's 2010, and the state convention, my first state convention, is about to start. During this session, Emmy Peterson, the state reporter, would be giving her retiring address. When she began her speech, I was on the edge of my seat. She began by telling us a story about how she needed to stop letting others tell her who she needed to be. That she just needed to be herself. That may have been 4 years ago, but I will always remember the things that Emmy said and how they made me feel. Now, imagine, you just competed in a contest that you have been preparing for months for. The results are in and the winners are announced. Your name wasn't called. Or maybe you just tried out for chapter office and that position that you have your heart set on was just awarded to someone else. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and think about how your life is just so hard and how they obviously did much better than you did and they probably, maybe you think they cheated? Or are you going to take a look at yourself in the mirror and evaluate how you can do better next time? You are you. You're not like everyone else. You have the ability to be someone no one else can be. Are you being the best you that you can be? Stop looking at the people sitting in the chairs next to you. Start taking a look at the person sitting in your chair. How are you different than every other person in this room? What makes you, you? Okay, now let's move on. Picture you're at a classroom. Got it in your mind? Okay. Now, imagine that kid that sits by themselves, doesn't really give a crap about what's going on in school, and really just doesn't want to be there. You may have a specific person in mind. Maybe the person you're thinking of, it's you. But the person that I'm talking about right now is me. During my sophomore year of high school, I felt life was very dark. This was the year I just so happened to be enrolled in Mrs. Morgan's agricultural biology class. I sat by myself on the second row of tables, not really caring at all what was being said during class. One day, when I reached the bottom and had lost almost all motivation, Mrs. Morgan asked to talk to me after class. During this conversation, she sat me down and told me I had this thing called potential. She encouraged me to join her FFA chapter. And 3 weeks later, I was at the 2010 state convention listening to Emmy Peterson talk. That convention changed my life. I am so grateful that Mrs. Morgan encouraged me to attend that convention. I got to hear Emmy speak and I learned from her. And I got to learn about all the different opportunities the FFA had for me. What does FFA have for you? You can always be better. It's hard. Picture your hero. What do they look like? Tall? Short? Skinny? Not so skinny? My hero is over 6 feet tall. He has about 3 strands of brown hair, but you never see him because he's usually wearing a cowboy hat or a baseball cap. He can be found out checking cows, visiting with old friends, at the kitchen table drinking coffee, or in his chair watching old westerns. My hero is my grandpa. My grandpa is probably the most stubborn person you will ever meet. He is stubborn, set in his ways, and believes he knows best. Like all men. One day, while walking home from school during kindergarten, yes, kindergarten, he sloughed, it's real, he came across a pack of cigarettes. He picked one up, and just like that, he was hooked. A few years later, the drinking started, and over the years, it became heavier and heavier. Flash forward. A few years ago, Grandpa had to have heart surgery. That's where that chair comes in. When it came time for Grandpa to wake up from the anesthesia, the doctor said he didn't have the strength. I rushed to the hospital to see the strongest man that I ever know, lying in such a vulnerable state. I sat in that chair next to his bed, grabbed his hand, and began scolding him. He had made a promise to me. He told me he would be to my graduation, yet here he lied? How could he do that? Just then, I felt him squeeze my hand. Grandpa was telling me that he was still there. It was just taking him a little while. FFA members, to be your best, you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to. Quitting is not hard. Or not easy, my bad. Okay, according to the American Cancer Society, only about 6% of smokers can quit on any given attempt. My grandpa did it. He did the work. That's why he's my hero. You see, it's not like you just wake up one day all sunny and bright and be like, yeah, I'm so much better than I was yesterday. It doesn't happen like that. You have to work on something. Little by little, and day by day, you will become a better person. Because you, yes you, I am talking to you. You are amazing. You can do things that no one else can do. You have the ability to reach the stars. You just have to get off your butt and do it. Stop waiting. Do the work. Find yourself and realize that you have potential. To be your best, don't sit there and... To be your best, just be yourself. To be your best, realize your potential. To be your best, you have to be willing to do the work. Life's not one of those things that you just wake up from and you're all like, yeah, cool, I'm awesome. You have to be willing to work. To be better, you have to. FFA members and guests, be your best.
Calee, you're an exquisite, amazing young woman. Your passion for agriculture and FFA is non-comparable.
She's playing footsie with me.
Talent, and personality, you have made our association stronger. Your insane love of cows to your funny and sometimes inappropriate jokes have made this year more than bearable, but an amazing year to be with you. Calee, on behalf of Michaela, Haley, Matt, Hunter, and I, please accept this plaque in recognition of your outstanding year of service to the Utah FFA Association.